If Trump wins the 2024 election, will the left riot? Now, I'm asking this question because in France right now, they're carrying on like a bunch of idiots. The left party out there is rioting, ripping the streets up, destroying stores, confronting cops, throwing tear gas and fireworks into the streets, I'm pretty sure at the cops. They lost some kind of election out there, which was round 1. Round 2 is July 7th. So they lost the first round, the left that is, losing to the right, or right-wing group. Now, if the right-wing group wins the votes in July 7th, if I'm not mistaken, this will be the first time since World War I France has seen a right coalition or right-leaning group, whatever that is. Now, if the left in France is behaving like giant kids after the loss of that election or whatever that was, how do you think the left are going to behave here in the United States if Trump wins? Now, we are watching the left carry on like giant retarded children in this country on a daily basis. They're acting up. Never mind Trump going back into office this year. They're probably going to lose their shit. Listen, they behave like retarded children when someone has a Trump shirt on or hat. There was even a guy that attacked another dude, a left-leaning idiot, who attacked another dude for wearing a Triumph shirt. Now, I thought that was interesting because, I mean, the guy had Triumph and they started fighting. And I'm watching the video, and at first I didn't understand what was going on until the guy was like, this is not a Trump shirt, it says Triumph, the motorcycle company. So, of course, that was a few years back. People right now are wishing death upon Trump on a daily basis. I'm pretty sure they have death parties and seances and shit like that. Again, this is the left-leaning idiots. Now, the left is getting smaller because the Democrats, if you will, are losing so many people to conservatives and Republicans because a lot of Democrats are voting Trump this time around. And after that disastrous debate that I didn't even watch, but everybody told me about, that they said it was disastrous, and I saw some clips here and there on Instagram, there are even more people now jumping ship, Democrats, and going to vote for Trump. I even think that a lot of Democratic politicians are going to start angling to side with Trump and vote for him and back him up so that they get something out of this when he gets into office, as politicians always do. But the rioting, that's the more bigger concern, because if they're doing it in France, guys, I could definitely see them doing it here. The left are like children. They're like babies that go unchecked. That being said, how bad is the riot going to get? Now, there was a bit of a scuffle, if you will, when Trump won the first election back in 2016. And there was legitimate flipping of cars, breaking of business windows, and I think there was a fire somewhere in that scene. I think it was a trash can or something like that. But they were behaving like babies then. 2024, there's more at stake. Everything's at stake, actually. And there's more people watching this. There's more people behaving poorly, the left, in this case, because they're crying and carrying on and talking about if Trump wins, we're going to go back to, well, not that we're going to go back to, but it's going to be like a Hitlerist country. And though there were remarks that Trump made that are very, very red flaggy about wanting to get rid of the Constitution and something about being a dictator. And I read some articles, and I took that with a grain of salt because those are left-leaning media companies. Nonetheless, those are red flags, but still it doesn't negate the fact that Biden is done. And Biden has been one hell of a dictator, or whoever's running Biden's been one hell of a dictator anyway, right? We all watched what happened with the J6 dudes. We all watched what happened with the COVID evolution here in the country. We were being lied to. We're repeatedly being lied to. We watched what happened with the whole Afghanistan troops leaving Afghanistan. We watched a lot of shit go down under this administration. And then we watched inflation and our pockets get thinner and everybody else's pockets get fatter. But if the rioting happens, I'm more concerned as is this going to be a nationwide riot or is this going to be a small baby riot like what happened in 2016 when Trump first got elected. So if it's going to be that, then there's nothing to worry about. But if we're going to see a nationwide riot, if we're going to see riot guys on a grand scale, we could also see the terror guys who are coming across the border use this opportunity to enact some shit, whatever that might be, letting a device go, a Mumbai style attack. Something could definitely go down under cover with the left acting like children. There's so many things that can go down. This election, guys, is going to be the most infamous election in American history and probably world history. And I definitely want to see whether or not the left is going to act poorly. Now, I can see them acting poorly. I can absolutely see them riot. The bigger question is, how big is that riot going to be? Like I said, is it going to be nationwide? Is it going to be just in D.C.? Is it going to be just in New York and Detroit? Or are we going to see it in every major liberal city across the country? Now, in case that does happen, obviously you guys know the riot protocol. Stay home, stay out of sight, make sure your shit's locked and loaded, and don't start wandering the street unless you're going to be like me, reporting and videoing it. Stay out of harm's way. If you're at work and you're a fireman and a cop, you're going to respond to probably a lot more bullshit. But I don't think it's going to get fucking stupid people. Some asshole almost let their kid run across the street. Anyway, I just want to know, again, how bad this is going to get and how big it's going to be. And if there's one side of me, the back of my brain is like, it's probably not going to get that bad. It's probably going to be contained to D.C. or very small pockets, like tiny pockets over the country in certain areas. But it's not going to be like it is in France, or rather in Paris. It's like the entire city was burning. But nonetheless, it's something good to keep in back of your head in case you end up in a city, in case you see this happening and you start seeing something unfold or you start hearing chatter about it, just leave. Just leave that area and go home. If you are caught in the middle of this with your pants down kind of deal, and you're like, oh my God, I don't know what happened. Well, then obviously you got to make your way out of that situation. But keep yourself privy to anything that changes, any shift in environment, right? So like if you're outside, you'll definitely feel that shift of energy from positive to negative with these left-leaning lunatics running around all over the world, rather all over New York City, all over the country. You're going to see more police presence in certain areas. That's going to be another tip-off as to something might happen. Not will, might. So just keep your head about you. Keep your head up. Stay off your phone. Pay attention to what's going on, and you'll be okay. But if you keep your head buried in the sand in your phone, and then all of a sudden you end up in the middle of this shit, well, you're going to have to think fast and get out of the situation. Anyway, guys, this is the Angry Prepper. Thank you for watching.